Don't you wanna be great?
My name is Micah Emrich, and I'm a local artist in the Milwaukee area. Grew up in West Bend. It's been a long process, but very fun one getting started. My dad was a pastor growing up, so I was always very active in church, and I was in orchestra as a kid, so it's been around music my whole life, but it wasn't until about like 2-3 years ago, kind of around just pre-pandemic time, I started taking music like to another level, trying to publish it, trying to make it happen for myself. So I moved to Milwaukee 2 years ago, just kind of took a chance, like I want to make music my full-time thing, so wanted to be more around the scene, and I like, being local. I like Milwaukee, so it's kind of brought me here, and now here we are doing the project release party for the third project here in NoStudiosMke, so it's been cool. It's been growing. In my Spotify bio, it just says alternative everything. I feel like that's a good way to sum it up. Very heavily influenced by like Justin Bieber vocals from a young age, because I had a high singing voice and stuff, but then getting into more alternative type of like R&B, alternative rock, EDM. I'm just a big fan of music, so I try and incorporate a lot of that in there.
The things I probably should have underlined, but I wanna make it in the worst way. Lately my composure's got a little bit concerning. I won't make excuses why I miss your brother's birthday. I can't miss the opportunities I've been.
So there's two big ones. Justin Bieber's already named, so I'll leave it out, but John Mayer growing up was like my biggest influence. I actually got some of his lyrics tattooed on my arm here from one of his live shows. I got Dreams to Remember. Also, Breakins is a newer artist. I'd say that he's been one of my bigger influences lately. He's a young kid, 20 years old, producing very genre-bending, hyper-pop, alternative pop things. So been taking some influence from that as well, and just trying to keep things going where music's going, Yeah, I'd say just honestly believing in yourself. And I mean, I feel like that's the cliche thing that every single person says, but like it wasn't until I started really diving into myself and just having fun and making the music that I resonated with that I started getting somewhere, because I feel like it's really easy to rely on other people, and that's a big thing in music, and to think that you need someone else to do this, the only thing you need is yourself, and if you keep going, everything else will follow eventually. So I'd say that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. The Complacent project, it's my newest EP, but I got a lot of music coming soon, some singles, some collaborative pieces. I'm trying to get more of that stuff out, but right now it's Complacent. We'll stick with that for now. I mean, a little backstory. I worked in a metal shop for 5 years before I moved here, and I felt like I grew up, in a little bit more suburby part of town, and there's a lot of things going on in the world, and it just forced me to kind of realize that the metal shop, they talked about complacency, safety, things like that, and how people become complacent over time, and I feel like people didn't take that word and the weight as serious as, it's just something that we talk about in safety meetings or whatnot, but I feel like I started to see that in just everybody's everyday life. Like, people settled, and people maybe said you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, but the reason that you stopped was because you got complacent. It wasn't because you couldn't keep going or anything like that. So it's just a reminder to, like, I don't want to get complacent in making my music in everyday life and everything. So just kind of that reminder to myself. Social media is Micah Emrich Official. It's all my social media: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, MICAHEMRICH Official. It's going to be everywhere.
Keeps on racing, hurry up, you're